Good morning. So today we have Albert with us, who is all about efficiency and optimization, which is why he founded his own company, which is all about this. Let's welcome Albert on 10 Minutes of Hiding Wisdom, who will teach us about his company and enlighten us with his wisdom. Hi, Albert. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Manal. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, Albert. As the weekend's coming up, what are your plans? Are you excited? What are you gonna be
Yeah,
doing?
I'm excited. My wife has she likes to go to fundraisers, so we're going to a fundraiser.
Oh,
And
what's the mission? Like, what's the fundraiser
the
about?
the 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 cause is breast cancer. We have a good friend who had a double mastectomy. Her
Oh
mother
wow,
died of breast cancer, and her sister also died of breast cancer. So she has
that
very
is
good reason to
heartbreaking.
yeah to raise money for that, and she's been doing it for
That
at least 4 or 5 years. She's had this fundraiser,
Oh
and,
wow, that
and
is
so
heartbreaking. But then again, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say she's still alive, and she this is one of her main causes. Now she also is active in Democratic fundraising, so she has a lot of pictures at her house with her, her husband, and President Obama, and Michelle Obama, and Biden, Joe Biden, and what's Biden's last his wife's name? Anyway. He she has
She
pictures on
sounds
the wall.
very inspiring.
Yes, she is, and she
She
knows a lot of
sounds
people
very
in places like
inspiring.
Atherton and Woodside, which have a lot of money, high tech people. So,
Wow,
and
she sounds very
now
inspiring. And considering she,
I should have said
sorry,
this
go
in the
ahead.
beginning. I was going to say, please call me Al because Albert reminds me of my mom. She passed away a couple years ago, and my wife only calls me Albert when she's mad at me.
Okay, okay, I'll definitely call you Ahmed.
Yes, Al's good.
Okay, I can see that because my parents usually call me Manal as well when they're talking about something serious. Otherwise, they have a nickname
Now, where are
that's
you from?
usually
Are you
local
from
for home.
Bangalore or Delhi, or where are you from?
So I am from Pakistan.
Pakistan. Wow.
Yes,
Well,
so I'm from
congratulations for
Pakistan.
coming all the way across the Pacific.
Thank you. I am currently in San Francisco. We'll be graduating in 4 days. So that's the good
Wow.
news.
Are you going to UCSF? Where are you going?
So I am going to Minerva schools at KGI. So the way this university is designed is we travel to 7 different countries over the 4 years. So we're not local to a specific country, but we get to travel to different countries and just live there, study there, and explore the country itself. So it's been amazing.
Wow, congratulations. Well, San Francisco has a lot to offer. My
It
son and
does.
wife live in San Francisco. They just bought a house in Castro Valley, but while it's being remodeled, they're still living in San Francisco. So San Francisco, we're up
Okay.
there probably at least 2 3 times a year.
Wow, that's as in, like I'm congratulations on like your family moving to San Francisco and everything. I mean, I think I do love San Francisco, but then again, it has its cons, especially with the homelessness and everything. So it's usually heartbreaking to see the Silicon Valley, the world, and everything, and then on the side you see homeless people and everything. So it's just like, where is the fine line between the inequality that
Well,
exists?
yeah,
So it's definitely
inequality is a
heartbreaking.
very interesting topic, and it's one of my favorites about the haves and the have-nots. It's related to things that my wife really cares about, which are, both the haves and the have-nots, as well as the 99% stuff, as well as the um, what's it called, Black Lives Matter. Lots of movements these days
Yeah,
are
that's
focused on
yeah.
the haves versus the have-nots. So I'll be happy to tell you
I
a
mean,
little
I
bit about
think
Anacode. Anacode is making faster
of
and
course.
more affordable storage. And what the way we do that is we use.
So what gave you the idea?
I've been working with compression for years and years. In terms of my career, first I was in defense electronics, then I was in audio in the 1990s, and in the 1990s, audio compression was a big deal. So I did work with Dolby and with MPEG and Sony Philips, and learned about audio, how you do audio compression. Audio compression is lossy, and I started a company called Samplify from 2006 to 2013. Series A was led by two VCs, Charles River Ventures and Formative Ventures. And Formative is no longer in business, but CRV is still in business. My buddy at CRV was first money into Samplify because we went to school together. And Schlumberger, the oil and gas company, led Series B. So I was able to hire roughly 30 people in the 7 years that Samplify was in business. But then we ran out of money because we couldn't ever get revenue. And I was a first time entrepreneur and I didn't know the importance of revenue and pricing and target markets and use cases and channels and go to market strategy and any of that. But so after Samplify ran out of money, I went to Amazon Lab 126 specifically, which is in Sunnyvale, California, does the Kindle e-readers, the tablets, as well as the surprisingly successful to people that are inside Amazon, the Echo, that little black plastic cylinder that you can talk to and it plays your music and stuff. So that's what Lab 126 did. I was working on the Fire phone, which not too many people have heard of because it was only on the market for 3 months. It launched in the summer of 2014 and was killed for good reasons in September of 2014. And after that, I was put into a machine learning group, which is a good thing. But that was September of 2014. And in October 2014, I got a call from Amazon Web Services in Seattle. And the guy that called me said, "Mr. Wagner, we understand you're a compression expert." And I said, "I've done some compression. How can I help you?" And he said, "How much do you think you could do lossless compression, 512 bytes at a time of Amazon customer data?" And that was a really interesting question to me. So I said what any self-respecting compression expert would do: send me some data and I'll give you an opinion. So he sent me 350 gigabytes, a lot of data that had already been
Oh,
partitioned into 512 bytes at a time. That's the size he wanted me to look at. So I ran some statistics on it and gave him a number, 1.5 to 1. Now, anybody that's been in compression for a while knows that 2 to 1 is typically what's achieved, but that's with a window size of 32K bytes, 32,000 bytes. This is 512 bytes, much smaller, and there's not nearly as much redundancy, it turns out, in Amazon customer data. So anyway, 1.5 to 1 has no meaning economically. And like I said, at my last startup, I didn't care about money. I cared very much about money when the guy asked me the question in 2014. And you have to know what his numerator was. His numerator was 600 million US dollars. So 600 million divided by 1.5 is 400 million. 600 million was the budget he had in 2014 to buy new solid state disks, the really fast storage, really big storage, can go up to the terabyte these days, um, of Amazon customer data. So $600 million divided by 1.5 is 400 million. So I would have saved him $200 million had I stayed, but I didn't. So in March of 2015, at the end of that month, I had my last day, and I've been doing Anacode ever since. Any questions?
so you've had a long
I've had,
journey. You've had a long journey. So you decided, as in, like, you learned, you made mistakes, you decided that, okay, revenue was very important and everything. So I can definitely see that you grew as a person. And then you decided to start your own company to actually implement that all that you had learned, which is very
yeah,
impressive
and
itself. So can you tell us about your company? As in, like, I understand it's all about efficiency, optimization, storage, but we'd love to hear more regarding
yeah,
what it
so
specifically
it's
does.
not just me. There are probably 7 others involved. There's a CEO candidate, a VP of marketing, a VP of sales, biz dev, 2 software developers, one onshore in Los Gatos, one offshore. And then my older son, Adam, the one who lives in San Francisco, is my Shopify expert. And Shopify is an e-commerce platform. So one of the things I learned at Samplify was you better know what market needs your stuff, and you better be able to say in a few words what the benefit is. So for Anacode, it's faster, more affordable storage. That's the elevator pitch. That's the
Okay.
story that
That's the
we're making.
elevator pitch, yes.
Everybody needs storage. Everybody using computers has to store their stuff, which is input. And very often they also store intermediate results. And then eventually they have an output. What is the number of customers we
Okay,
have? How much revenue do we have? One number, 2 numbers. Um, then
that makes
so
sense. That
so
makes
what Anacode does is we charge. Now most people don't know this, but and of course the public cloud guys, and by public cloud I mean AWS, Amazon Web Services, as well as Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud Platform, also known as GCP. They charge for storage, and you rent the storage. So you're basically renting space from them, and for a certain amount of price per gigabyte, and I prefer to say terabyte. So they may say 2 cents per gigabyte per month. I changed that to $20 per terabyte per month. And that way people say, wait, I got 100 terabytes. You mean I'm paying, $2,000 a month? And then it comes home. So what Anacode is going to do is we're
Wow.
going to offer storage at roughly half the price. So instead of being $20 per terabyte per month, Anacode will be $10 per terabyte per month. Now, we compress the data more than 2 to 1.
So it's all about customer
Yes,
centricity for you.
yeah, and also identifying something that customers will pay for. Well, they're already paying for storage now, so why shouldn't they pay for cheaper storage? And I can tell you that of the cloud providers that
That's
I
very true.
mentioned, two of the three use compression, but only to increase their storage profits, which are exorbitant anyway. Now, one of them doesn't use compression.
Okay, very
Now,
impressive.
that one is leaving a lot of money on the table by not using compression. So I can't say any more than that.
Wow. So I love the customer centric approach and knowing how you marketed your product, specifically knowing that your customers will pay it at this price
Yes.
and making sure that you're tailoring your approach towards your customers, which is something that's very important. Because at the end of the day, businesses need to realize that, okay, if we're not providing something, someone else will, because there's so much competition in the market. So I can definitely see that. So I'd love to hear, Al, regarding whether your company is hiring. It sounds like a wonderful company. If you're looking for people to work for you, especially because of the pandemic and everything, some companies stopped their hiring, some companies increased their hiring. What is going
Well,
on with
with
your
with
company? What
with
roles are you
Anacode,
looking for?
Anacode is an interesting case because we are hiring, but I have nearly 30,000 connections on LinkedIn, and I'd say maybe at
Wow.
least 1 out of 5 connections are people coming to me saying, "I represent 20 software engineers, half of whom have a PhD and the other half have master's degrees." So my biggest job as the CEO of Anacode is determining who's bluffing, who's not, and finding the one person out of those 20 who's worth anything. And I can be really specific with what software skill sets we're looking for. Um, in order to do our compression, we write two functions. We write an encode function that compresses and a decode function that decompresses. That's all we need. And if you put compression into a storage service, you write data and you read data. When you write the data, you compress it. When you read the data, you decompress it. Very simple. So there is a software technology called microservices that AWS, Amazon Web Services, is the leader of. And they have a product called AWS Lambda, just the Greek letter lambda. And that is what implements encoding and decoding for Anacode. Now, Azure has Azure Functions, Google has Google Cloud Functions, so they all have microservices. Now, closely related to microservices is containers and Kubernetes. With containers and Kubernetes, you have to do your own scheduling, you have to do your own load balancing, you have to do your own recovery. So if one of the computers that you're running on craps out, then you got to spin up some new ones. Microservices takes care of all that for you. So am I answering your question about who? So we're looking for somebody. We're launching on AWS in a month. We're
Yes.
launching in July. Second half of the year, and we're finishing.
Okay. So you're definitely answering my question.
Go ahead. Any other questions? I was
Sorry, go
going to
ahead.
say
So I think
the kind of people we're looking for are people who are software developers who are used to writing software for the cloud. So PHP, Perl, Python, all the P's, as well as have an experience with AWS S3. S3 is Simple Storage Service. That's the storage system in AWS, as well as AWS Lambda, or functions or microservices, or if they had experience with the containers, we could probably even make that work. And that's it. And because
okay. Wow. So you definitely are
yes.
hiring.
Any other questions?
Well, I think I can definitely see why you have 30,000 plus connections and people reaching out, and you need to make sure that you actually pick people
Yes.
that would be very
Yeah.
specific to your company, because I think you can't just hire someone at the end of the day who doesn't know
Yeah.
what they're doing. So if people do reach out to me, I will make sure that they do qualify for your company specifically, and whether they are well equipped with all the P's when it comes to coding and everything. So thank you so much, Al. It was definitely a
Okay.
pleasure learning from you. Our time is up for today. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I hope you have a wonderful time
Great.
at the
Thank you,
fundraising
Minal.
event.